talk movies! Movie friends!
Stand together!
Dinosaur. Rated PG.
Hello, friends. It's Pete, and it's that time again where I just talk about Disney movies that I haven't seen in a while. Or just in general, Disney movies that I'm watching. And also, yeah, if you're liking these things, let me know what Disney movies you might want me to watch and talk about, and I will do so. Yeah, so let me just take a sip of water here. So this week I'm going to be talking about the movie Dinosaur. It was pretty much Disney's first crack at a truly 3D animated movie. I think this was actually their first fully not fully, because a lot of the backgrounds and stuff were actually filmed on location, so it was actually technically a hybrid of live action and 3D animation. All the characters are 3D animated, of course, because they are dinosaurs. But yeah, Dinosaur. Been a long time since I've seen this movie. I watched it in theaters. I actually remember watching it in theaters and being pretty blown away by it because I haven't really seen an animated movie like that at that time. Yeah, I saw it in theaters. I had it on VHS. Probably watched it once or twice when I had it on VHS, but it wasn't a big movie that was in my rotation of movies as a child. So yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen it. This is the first time me watching it in my adult years, so that's always interesting. And yeah, Dinosaur. It was directed by Eric Layton and Ralph Zondag, who've worked on numerous other animated stuff, like Nightmare Before Christmas. Nothing huge. They were just like in the animation department and stuff, but yeah, it's not their first rodeo with animation, but it was definitely a big project nonetheless. And this Dinosaur, the idea apparently was conceived, a long time ago, like probably in the late 80s. And, at the time they just didn't really have the technology, I guess, to do what they wanted to do, because the whole idea was to make a kind of a darker, and you can definitely see it watching this movie, but they wanted to go for a more darker, movie about dinosaurs, and I guess they felt like they couldn't really do it at that time because they wanted it to have realistic animation. And for the most part, for the time that it came out, they did a really good job. I mean, sometimes it looks weird, especially with the lemurs. There's lemurs in this movie, and yeah, that looks pretty weird at certain moments. But to be honest, the dinosaurs all look pretty cool, and the emotion and stuff that is animated into their faces looks really good. So yeah, it doesn't look dated, that's for sure. Sometimes it does when it comes to fur and yeah, like I said, like the lemurs and all the furry creatures, but it still looks really good. I wouldn't say it's dated at all. But yeah, it was it was conceived a long time ago, and I think it's cool that most of the backgrounds and stuff is filmed on location, because I guess they wanted it to feel as real as possible. So yeah, a lot of it was filmed. A lot of the backgrounds is actually real, shot on location. And yeah, just the characters are computer animated, which is pretty awesome. As for story, as the story goes, and like the plot, it's pretty generic. Pretty much. This dinosaur named Aladar, an iguanodon, when he was younger, his home was attacked, and he was pretty much the only like surviving egg out of like all of his all the other eggs. He was the only one that survived, and he was found by some lemurs and was raised by lemurs, and um, it kind of reminded me of Tarzan. It was pretty much just like the mom wanted to adopt Aladar, just like how the mom wanted to adopt Tarzan, and the father was reluctant about it and didn't want to do it because Aladar's species of dinosaurs, I think, they're not so kind to lemurs, and the same thing with humans in Tarzan to the gorillas. They didn't trust the humans, so it was similar in that aspect. And then basically, yeah, he's raised by lemurs, and one day a terrible meteor strike happens and literally just destroys everything, which that was really cool. That was a very cool scene. It was very well animated. The action was sick, and yeah, that was a really cool part of the movie was the whole meteor scene. And basically it destroys their home, and now they have to find a new place to find sanctuary, and they hear of this place called the Nesting Grounds. So basically the whole movie is Aladar and his lemur family trying to get to the nesting grounds, and on the way they find a herd of other dinosaurs that are trying to get to the same place. And that's basically the gist of the whole movie. They're just trying to get to this new safe haven while they're being hunted down by these T-Rex things with horns and velociraptors, and yeah, they're basically being hunted down by those things. And yeah, that's the whole thing in the movie, and that's why I guess it's pretty generic. It's basically just them being chased the whole movie while they're trying to find sanctuary. So yeah, sorry, I'm just very dehydrated right now. And yeah, I apologize if you hear there's construction going on outside. So if you hear that, my apologies. If you don't hear it, then great. I shouldn't have even brought it up. But yeah, so I did find this movie kind of, I don't know, it looked good, and it was very dark. It had like some moments with like death and sacrifices and stuff, so that was like pretty cool. And I can definitely see that why they wanted to wait and do it with this kind of technology to tell this, I don't know, this story, I guess, because it's a lot more darker and grittier than like, say, Land Before Time or A Good Dinosaur or something like that. But I did find it just kind of boring, I guess. I felt like it was just something I've seen before. Nothing really crazy. Like, yeah, like nothing really crazy happens or anything. Like everything was kind of predictable. Yeah, I mean, I could see why it wasn't that memorable to me and why I haven't watched it up until now. It was just kind of the animation. I give them kudos for that, because for the time it came out, they weren't doing a lot of 3D animated movies, and like I said, this was pretty much Disney's first crack at 3D animation, and I think they pulled it off. It definitely doesn't look dated, and it looks really well. But yeah, I just found it kind of boring. The whole thing is just them trying to find a safe haven after their previous home got destroyed. One thing this movie did teach me was, if you're ever in a dry area and you don't have water, just push on the ground and water will appear. I mean, I'm sure there's some truth behind that, but I thought that was pretty crazy, because the whole point was there was this lake that they were really hoping they would come across, because they were walking for so long. All these dinosaurs were walking for so long, they were so thirsty that they're like, oh, there's this lake, and that's where we can stop and get water. And then they get there, and it's all dried up. There's nothing there, and they're all basically lost hope. They're like, we're gonna die here. Like, we thought there's gonna be water and stuff, and we're dead. And then Aladar pushes down on the dirt, and a nice big fat puddle of water just emerges. And yeah, so if I'm ever stranded out in the wilderness, I'm gonna try that. And if it doesn't work and I die, then fuck you, dinosaur. But that's something to think about, I guess. And yeah, I don't know. I would say, because I remember in the first episode of this thing, I said I was gonna do like a, I guess like 4 stars or 5 stars or something out of 5. And then the second episode, I forgot to do it entirely, and I didn't really talk about how I felt about the movie, but yeah, I'm gonna start kind of rating it so you can get my recommendation or get my opinion on it. But yeah, this movie I would definitely just give it like pretty mediocre. Like if out of 5, I would give it like maybe a 2.5 or 3. I just think the animation looks really well and cool, but the story and the pacing of the movie is just kind of boring. And I even think like kids, like I liked it as a kid because I know lots of kids like dinosaurs and stuff. But there's tons more family dinosaur movies that are better than this one to show, I would say, because yeah, this one is just kind of boring, and kids might even think it looks too real and kind of lose interest or get scared of it even, because the T-Rexes with the horns on their head look pretty crazy, and there's some death and there's some sacrifice, and yeah, but overall it is a pretty meh movie. That's my MEH, meh. Yeah, just pretty boring, and probably won't watch it again, to be honest with you, but I'm glad I did watch it in my adult years to kind of gauge how I felt about it. But it did pave the way for Disney to experiment with 3D animated movies and even live action movies, like the way they did it with filming simultaneously on location and character animation and stuff like that. As for the voices, I feel like I should talk about voice acting with these movies because I'm a voice actor, and that's also, you gotta give kudos to those people providing their voice and bringing these characters to life. In Dinosaur, it was really actually pretty well. Good voice acting, because sometimes when you listen to certain voice actors or people who I mainly hear it in like big time actors who don't do voice acting a lot, and then they're in an animated movie, it kind of sounds just stale and a little bit stoic, I guess you could say. But no, Dinosaur was good. All the who played DB Sweeney, he was good. I don't even I don't think he's in much. Maybe he was famous at this time, but I didn't even hear about him. But DB Sweeney, he was in it. Did a good job. Who else was in it? Let's see. I didn't even look like at the IMDb for this. Oh yeah, Alfre Woodard was in this too. She's a very good actress. She was also just in the new Lion King as Sarabi, and she's a really good actress as well. She was in Luke Cage and stuff. But yeah, good performances, I'll say that. So the animation and the performances in this movie were good, but yeah, I mean, if you're a Disney fan, I would say watch it. Like if you're a big Disney fan and you haven't seen Dinosaur, for sure watch it. Any of these movies I'm talking about, if you're a Disney fan or you like animation, all these movies I'm talking about you should watch, just because they all have something that they offer. But some, hit the mark plot wise, they're boring, kind of like this one. But yeah, I would say give it a watch. But if you've seen it before or you've seen it a while ago and you don't really remember it and you want to watch it, I don't know. You can. I'll just say watch a recap or something. You don't have to watch it. It's nothing special really. And even when it came out, I'm pretty sure critically it didn't do so good. Mostly because of what I said, it's just kind of, it's something we've all seen before. It was just kind of boring. It was just a lot of bells and whistles with the new animation technology, but yeah, it was kind of boring. But yeah, I would say I'll give it a solid 3. And yeah, I wouldn't watch it again because yeah, even now it's like not even that memorable in my head. It's it's definitely something you can pass on for sure. Yeah, so hopefully this sorry, I'm just reading more on this. But yeah, like I said, good animation, boring movie, don't need to see it. Uh and yeah, if we're going to start doing more of these we're going to start doing more of these Disney things and stuff like that, and especially when Disney Plus is coming out, we're going to do a lot more of these. So I hope you like these. Let me know what Disney movies you want me to talk about, and I will definitely do that. I like to hear your input, and let me know what you think on my opinions in all these episodes as well. So yeah, thanks for joining me, friends, and until next time, goodbye. Comment, like, subscribe, hit the bell to be notified.